am Ritisha Roy. I study in class 7 of Sri Chaitanya Techno School, New Town branch. So in today's video, the topic is friction on inclined plane, where I will determine the coefficient of static friction between any two surfaces with the help of inclined plane and pulley system. But in this first video, the inclined plane angle is 0 I am taking, but in the other videos I will slowly start increasing the angle. So right here, as you can see, this is the rough diagram of this whole experimental setup, where this is of mass m1 and its weight is acting downwards. So m1g is acting downwards and normal reaction will be acting upwards. So n is acting upwards over here, and for this plate where I will later add these pebbles, the mass will be m2, so its weight will be acting downwards and m2g will be acting downwards. And since one rope is acting like holding these two together, that means a tension force is also acting. So for this plate mass, tension will be acting in upwards direction, and for this block mass, the tension will be acting in this direction. And since I will start adding more weight to this system, it means that the tension on the rope will try pulling this whole block in this direction. So the friction force will act in the opposite direction as it opposes relative motion. So the friction will act in this direction. Now I will try to find out the value of mu s, but I will have to use a condition where the body just starts moving. And since it will just start moving, it means that T and m2g will be equal to each other, and Fs max or maximum static friction will be equal to this tension force. But first of all, in the normal state only, there is no vertical like movement in upward or downward direction. So it means that N is equal to m1g for this block. Now I will write the second equation on this plate mass. Since as I earlier told, we will use like the bodies just start moving, so T is equal to m2g and maximum static friction, as we know before, it is equal to coefficient of static friction or mu s into normal reaction or n. And since I told the body will just start to move, so for this body the equation is Fs max or maximum static friction is equal to T or tension on the rope. Now I will solve this equation right here. So I will like change the sides right now. No, let's just keep it in like that only. So it becomes mu s into n is equal to m to g, and we will now substitute the value of n over here, so it becomes mu s into m1g is equal to m2g. Now g will get cancelled off, so at the end we find out that the coefficient of static friction between this surface and this surface is equal to ratio of the mass of this body and ratio of the mass of this body over here. So right now we found out that this, like the coefficient of static friction between this green surface and this wooden surface, will be like equal to the ratio of the amount of pebbles, like the mass of the pebbles I will use on this plate plus the plate weight, and divided by the mass of this wooden block. Now I will do two experiments, as this mass has two different surfaces. One is a green surface, as you can see, which I will use first, and the second is this wooden block only. And the coefficient of static friction will be different for both, as friction also like depends on the nature of the two surfaces, like are they smooth or rough, like that. Now let me just start putting the pebbles on. As you can see, the body has still not started moving. It has still not started moving. So right now we'll add the final two. Yes, it has just started moving. So right now let me just weigh this whole mass on my electrical mass measurer over here. So the weight of this whole plate is 69 grams. So we'll approximately take it as 70 grams. And I've measured it already before that. The mass of this block is 100 grams. So right now the coefficient of static friction between this surface and this surface is 70 grams or 0.7 kgs. Let me take it. Zero 0.07 divided by 0.1. So it becomes 7 by 10, which is ultimately equal to 0.7. So right now I will use this wooden surface. Let me just take this whole pebbles off. So right now I will just start putting these pebbles on. As you can see, the body has still not started moving. Now let me just see. Yes, it has just started moving. So let me just weigh this whole body right now. So right now the mass is of 40 grams. So let me just write it down. So the coefficient of static friction for this body, like this surface and this surface, is 0.04 kg by 0.1 kg, which is equal to 4 by 10 is equal to 0.4. So as you can see, this also proves that the coefficient of static friction is different for different surfaces, because this green surface is actually a little bit more rough than this smooth wooden surface. So I hope you have liked this video. Now to the next part I go.